Hello everyone, Siege Link here, back with my first ever Warcraft 3 Reforged replay. Now in this mode I'm actually have the classic one up, even though for the most part I don't kind of like the graphics too much, I just find it easier to select units. So I'm the human in the top left of Turtle Rock here, and my opponent is in the bottom right, or bottom left actually, and is an orc player. This is my first ever actual game of, wouldn't unpause there for a moment. This is my first ever actual game that I won in Warcraft 3. And I don't know why, but this is a very common thing that I've noticed, which is that when you actually click "Good luck, have fun," it just types it twice. Another fun thing is that I didn't find that. I haven't noticed that at all, other than in other than "Good luck, have fun." Like if I ever type anything else, it doesn't repeat it like that. Let me check something. Okay, yeah, it's just clicking on the unit. Trying to get used to the spectator mode a little bit. So nothing out of the ordinary quite yet. I was still kind of starting to get used to like wall offs and timings and all that. I can speed this initial part up first. So this is altering his barracks around the same time. My altar is done around that time, but my barracks is quite a bit later. Cutting it a bit closer on supply. And that's specifically why I delayed the barracks. No point getting it earlier if it's if you're not gonna be able to make any footmen yet. So he's going Blade Master, and against a good player, Blade Master I find very annoying at like your average level, because they can just run in and you don't even see them. Can't see them. You can't even see them on the mini map, which is very annoying. So they can basically force you to stay on your side of the map, especially on a map like this, especially when you don't even know where the opponent spawned. So I go Archmage first. Get out right around the time he gets Blade Master out. He's got a grunt around the same time I get a footman. Bring a couple of militia out. Got a water elemental. Kind of just Amu didn't really like position the water elemental or the militia closer. So I lost a lot of damage on the footman, which is a little annoying. But even with that being said, I creeped faster than he did. Just got a second grunt out now. Just now getting blacksmith. Now he's gonna creep this one. So I just bring a water elemental out to scout, see if I can find what base location he's at. That is very valuable information on this map. Lumber mill over here. We're planning to mine. Cut down my trees because not much over here. And I didn't want to keep the wall off. It's actually supply blocked here. It's not making anything. I'm not quite supply blocked, but I'm close. So now I get the information. See, he's upgrading, getting a war mill just now. And actually, I was very close to killing that grunt. That was very poor in his part. If I killed that grunt, that would have been insane. So I've got 4 footies, and even though I've got 1/2 damaged, he's got 2 that are basically as good as dead. In fact, it looked like he used a heal scroll there. So that's good value, just getting rid of that. Usually, this is the kind of thing that happens to me. I move out and my opponent moves in. Now it's the reverse of Siege Link timing here. Even bringing another footman around. For a second, I thought I saw myself building a tower there, but nope. So I didn't want to go anywhere near those burrows, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to go straight for this barracks and force him to sort of do something about it. Now, he honestly probably should have just counterattacked because he was just so out of position. And I also didn't really have anything on my side of the map. And the thing is, just damage alone usually isn't that good, but in this game it was actually kind of decent, because he didn't actually repair this that well. So I decided to surround the peon so he can't repair it. So he has some good micro here. And it was just the burrows I really just didn't want to fight against. So by killing that peon, it's half damage, and he didn't really do anything. He decides to chase me down here, but I've got a rifleman at home, and I'm producing some more. And he's chasing me down with nothing as well. Like, he still has one of the gruns, two of the gruns, in fact, at his base. And just now unloading his peons. Try to shoot and move there, but a tiny bit too slow. So I thought I was going to keep chasing the footman, but he didn't, surprisingly. Decided to go for the hero to kind of just put max pressure on him, really. But now I had a lot more units and I could chase him down. Especially because even though he had the upgrade base, he didn't really have any production. Or even money, for that matter. And did I have an upgrade yet? No, I didn't quite have an upgrade yet. But yeah, he just wasn't building any units, really. He just started to now, and he still hasn't repaired this. He's just on one barracks, and he really needs to just be making more peons. Or maybe going for a base or something, because he's just not really going for anything. He's got tier 2, but he hasn't done anything with it. I've at least got 2 barracks, and I'm starting to get an Arcane Sanctum up now. But I'm mostly focused on just making more units after he did that, or he made more units. And I don't remember sending this guy around. I remember doing that in another replay, but not this replay, so that's kind of odd. And let's look at the gear for a moment. So he's got Cloak of Shadows and Cloak of Strength. I've also got Cloak of Shadows and Circle of Nobility. So we're kind of equal in terms of gear right now.
Research complete.
Just now getting the long rifles. And the weapon upgrade finished as well, which he didn't have any of. I think he did go for one eventually, but it was when I had like 2-2 or something, and I was like way ahead on upgrades. So just now getting a priest. And this was early on. I really did not know how to micro priest properly, because if you A move, they attack, and you don't want them to attack, you just want them to sit and heal. So it's kind of annoying to try to micro them a lot of the time. Still just on 4 peons on wood, and it doesn't even look like he's got... Yeah, he doesn't even have 5 on gold, so that's the biggest thing hurting him here. If he just needs to make, like, 2 or 3 more peons. Like how many workers I have. And look at the economy difference. I'm starting to creep this base, see if I can get expansion going. That footman was super low, so I wasn't worried too much about it. He's creeping down here. Still no upgrades. And I've got 2-2 for my rifles. Potion of Invulnerability is a very useful item, but I wasn't good at, like, microing my heroes' consumables that well. So it wasn't amazing for me. Because keep in mind, this was my first game I actually won, and this was, I want to say, like, maybe my 7th game. And this was my first game after a long time as well. So I wasn't great by any means. I've only got a handful of rifles and a couple of priests. But I decided to go down, kind of just poke, see where my opponent's at. And kind of a weird thing happens in a moment. You can very much see a difference in supply and money. So I decided, you know what, I know he's here. If he hasn't creeped this yet, I might as well creep a camp that's right next to him. And did I thought I went for Alchemist this game, but apparently I haven't yet. It's strange. Yeah, I like the Alchemist because it has an AoE healing effect. And its other two useful abilities are both quite useful. Acid Bomb's decent, but also the Chemical Rage is a little underrated, I think, especially as a melee unit. Like, lower on in leagues, if you're not great at microing melee units like I was, just having level 1 Chemical Rage is nice. So I thought I clicked these, but I didn't, which was a little annoying, but just getting the extra creeping and the leveling was good. He just now finally has upgrades on his guys to actually equal mine. I decided to ignore his hero, because I know he had very good micro on it. I was just focusing on units. Now here I decided to focus his hero, and then I decided to switch off it, which I regretted. Now this was the unique thing, which was that looking back at this replay, I didn't realize his hero was almost dead. Like, I thought his hero was about to kill a bunch of my units, but it was only about to kill one. And if I just keep pushing him, I would have forced him to go invisible, and I could have easily killed these guys. Because my guys were actually doing way more damage than he was. Due to the +1 attack, and he only has +1 armor. Because he has melee attack, but he's going into headhunters now rather than grunts. And this is a thing that I find very, very common at lower leagues, and even at top leagues to some extent, but definitely not to this level, which is kind of rushing tier 3 very quick. But the problem is he doesn't have any tech. He has one barracks, and that's it. And he doesn't even have it repaired properly. He's going for a torrent totem, but like, look at his unit. He's got 22 supply. I've got twice that supply, and I've got double the workers and double the army pretty much. Not to mention superior upgrades. I've got now 2-1 upgrades to his 0-1, and I'm starting to get 2-2. And I've got an expansion up. Here I decided to go for staff teleportation, just kind of practice with it. I've seen it at this point I didn't fully understand like group teleports or individual teleports. So what this does is you don't have invulnerability, but you can teleport one person, in this case just the hero. Sort of to and fro. So with like this guy you can sort of run in deep with like water elemental, try to get like a worker kill here and there, and then like TP out. Here I did target him, looked pretty early, but now I'm just targeting these headhunters. And because of my superior upgrades, I'm just doing way more to them, and just kind of ignoring the individual damage that he's dealing to me. But I do notice that he's kind of low, so I wanted to do some more damage to him first. That way I force him out of the fight. And you can see it with the potion of healing. He's basically relying purely on this hero at this point. I don't have a massive army compared to his, but I mean it's enough, especially when you consider my army back at home that I'm making. I also don't like rallying across the map, particularly, not only because rallying at home defends against counterattack, but also I like to send them in groups. That way the opponent can't just get like a pick off one by one. And I was looking for like a position. I was like, Torrent Totem or Barracks. Getting either of them would be nice. This one basically sets him back to the Stone Age tech-wise. This one is already half damage, and it's the only one he can actually really produce off of, because he's not only, well, he was supply blocked until he lost all his units there, but he also just doesn't have the money for anything in there. Now we've got more units again, and he's just not doing enough damage. He has to rely on the crits. So I lose 2 priests, but I'm about to kill his barracks here. Once that barracks is gone, he's got Blade Master, and that's it. At this point, it's just a war of attrition that he can't win. Got a bunch of money. Just keep making units. And this is always a nail in the coffin in my mind, when their max supply that they aren't even at is like way less than what your actual supply is. My actual supply is 50, and their max supply is 31, and they're not even close to that. For now, just ignoring this guy. I just want to take out all of his production, because just like one Torrent Chieftain might be able to do something. I wanted to see if I could attack this while while not being in range of the burrows, because that's the one thing that could get him to concede, which is getting rid of the Altar of Storms. And I was like, you know what, I don't really care if I'm in range too much, because I've got enough units and I'm sending more across. And I've got 2/2 upgrades. Getting the castle back at home, just constantly producing units. Like I said, it's a war of attrition. At this point, you can't win. He's got very good Blade Master micro and survivability, but that alone is not going to win him the game at this point. It's just too far gone. The biggest thing I really do think was his just not building enough peons, because he wasn't able to... He rushed tier 3, but because he didn't have enough peons, he didn't have like any resources. And even if he could make units, he didn't have the supply to be able to maintain them. Now his Altar of Storm's gone. His Blade Master's about to die, and there's still quite a bit of time left on this replay, surprisingly. There goes the Blade Master. And there it goes. Oh yeah, I remember now. It's because I decided to continue after this. I wanted to see if he had a base here, which he didn't. But yeah, that's it for this game. Had an expansion up, had a lot of units. Didn't even really go for anything other than just tier 2 for the most part. I just put max pressure on once I got rid of his army. That was it. And that was my first ever Warcraft 3 Reforged win. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next replay.